This episode of Nerds of the Multiverse is not brought to you by Pornhub because they refuse to sponsor us.
Still?
Yep. Hashtag please
Damn.
sponsor us, Pornhub. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Nerds of the Multiverse. I'm Turbo Stu, and I'm, of course, joined by Bugfang. How's it going,
Hi.
Bugfang?
I'm pretty well. I got abducted this morning.
Cool.
It was strange, but this place seems to be identical in almost every way to my home, so I'm cool.
Yeah, indeed. I'm sorry I kidnapped you, but you got to understand. I really wanted you on my podcast, you know? It's how it works. I kidnap you, you come on my podcast. It's worked with the other Bugfangs in the past, and it works with you, too.
I don't see why you don't just get your own Bugfang, but okay.
I killed that Bugfang.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Bugfang on Earth 1 is dead. What do you think happens to the other Bugfangs once I'm done with them? I mean, okay, so let's move on to our first topic today. So, so this is going to be kind of a interesting one just because for me, it's not really that big of a deal, but it gives me an excuse to talk about Power Rangers, which I've done a few times on the show, but I've never used Power Rangers as a topic before, except debatably the Haley Seinfeld one was kind of an excuse for me to use Power Rangers as a topic. So I guess kind of I've used it as a topic once before, but this time is actual like Power Rangers news that I wanted to talk about regarding the next season of Power Rangers Beast Morphers, which I'm actually kind of excited about. And this may seem really dumb, and this is why I'm excited to talk to you about it, because it's going to sound really weird with no context, since I'm assuming you don't know much about the Neo, what was called the Neo Saban era. Yeah,
almost nothing. Yeah,
cool. So ever since like what's called by fans the Neo Saban era, when the show moved to Nickelodeon, they've always had it so there's always been 2 seasons for each series instead of each series just being 1 season long. So because Nickelodeon, you know, only allows like 20 episodes a season for all their shows, so they've had to divide each series into 2 seasons. But for some reason, they had this amazingly dumb idea of adding super in the title of season 2s of all their series. So
hey, that sounds pretty super to me.
It's dumb. So you had Super Samurai, Super Megaforce, Dino Supercharge.
Admittedly, I like the super being added to everything. I think that's fun. I like it. Super Megaforce is the best name ever.
If Megaforce wasn't dumb enough, Super Megaforce.
Like, honestly, it probably should have been Super Mega Ultra Megaverse.
Now we're getting into like Street Fighter titles. Super Street Fighter Turbo Deluxe Edition 2.
Hey, I love those titles.
Oh man,
The only reason I like Street Fighter, their titles.
If only I was alive during like the early 90s when all those titles were coming out, you know, when you had, it was like Street Fighter 2, then Super Street Fighter 2, then Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Okay.
Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo Deluxe Edition.
So
Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo 2.
That was because republishing the same game with a new character stage was a huge thing back then. Like every iteration of it with any difference had to be a new version of the game that was published and like switched onto like machines.
Basically, back then with DLC, they had to re-release the entire game with the update instead of just letting you download the update.
Like if you were at the arcade while they installed the update, it's a guy coming with like a new motherboard and installing it in the machine. It's like
the first game that, interestingly enough, man, I started with Power Rangers. Now I'm going into a topic about games and how you could say this could technically be considered like one of the first DLCs, even though it's not like a literal DLC. But back when Sonic the Hedgehog 3 came out, they had like a really big game in mind that unfortunately the Genesis, being nowhere near as big as the Super Nintendo, couldn't handle quite at the time. They had half of it released on a game cartridge called Sonic 3, and the other half was called Sonic and Knuckles. And what was cool is you could actually attach the two of them, and then that would create the full game Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Like one of the first expansions.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. So it was like DLC before DLC. But going back to Power Rangers, though, so we now have what's called the Hasbro era, because Hasbro, as I think I've brought up to you before, has recently bought Power Rangers last year. So we're calling this the Hasbro era. It hasn't officially been called that by like the Ranger, like by actual like it's just been called that by the fans. Yeah, it's just the fan base has called it that, I think.
Hasbro isn't calling it that. Just the fans
are. But even though this is kind of more of a Wild Force situation where it's kind of like it was bought while the writing was already done during a different era, but it's kind of airing for a new era, you can already see some small changes that they've kind of made that you feel like wouldn't have been a thing for the Saban era. And one of those big ones, I think, Neo Saban era is what I meant to say. Right. And one of those big things is that Beast Morphers Season 2 will be called the second season of Beast Morphers and not Super Beast Morphers.
That's lame. I want to see some Super Beast Morphers.
The article by Power Rangers Now has released some information. Some of it I'm really excited for, but it's also nothing new, because ever since this YouTube show called the Hashtag Show came out, they're kind of already getting these articles out before Power Rangers official websites get them out, which is like kind of funny. So we knew from them, and they're just kind of reconfirming everything that Hashtag Show already announced. But we know that from both the Hashtag Show and the trailer for Season 2, Austin St. John is returning for the first time since Wild Force. So, what gets me excited about him returning is not only because it's Austin St. John, the OG Red Ranger, but it's also because, like, he's mentioned in interviews before, his reason for not coming back to Power Rangers is that he's never been given good material to work with, because anytime they want him to come in, it's only for, like, a glorified...
that his return signifies a return of quality writing.
Yeah, not necessarily quality writing, but we know he's actually going to play a part, because he's been like concerned that anytime they've wanted him to come back, it's always just been for like a glorified cameo, and that's it. You know, they keep, every time they have an anniversary where they bring back old Rangers, I love Tommy Oliver, but stop making anniversary episodes the Tommy Oliver show starring the Power Rangers. Because that's what the last season during the 25th anniversary they did. They brought back old Rangers, and the fact that Tommy Oliver had more screen time than the team that was the main focus of the season kind of shows that, okay, I love you, Jason David Frank, but there's other actors that did a really good job too that they could have given screen time to.
But he wants to be there.
I mean, yeah, and that is cool. That's why I like Jason David Frank as a person. Like, I do love that he still contributes to Power Rangers a lot, and I wouldn't mind seeing him come back. But at the same time, it's like he's not the only one contributing to Power Rangers, like, even now.
So you want him to kind of shit or get off the pot, either come back or like let someone else make an appearance.
Yeah, like, if he's coming back, stop like making it only focused on him.
Right.
And I think part of the problem too was that it was almost like the last time he appeared, it was only to set up his comic book that was coming out, which was essentially like an Old Man Logan type comic book, but with the Green Ranger in the future. They kind of set a few things up for that comic book. That might have been like why he had so much screen time, but so that's why Austin St. John didn't return last season. But with this season, he's coming back, and more than likely, if he's coming back, that means they actually have a good role for him this season. So that's one thing that's what I'm hoping for. The other thing that's been announced this season, and it kind of makes sense because the idea of a computer virus being the main villain was something that was done already back in 2009 with the Power Rangers season called RPM, which I think I've mentioned. It was kind of obvious the last time we talked about Power Rangers that that's like my favorite season. But they've mentioned now that one of my favorite characters from said season, Dr. K, she's going to be returning into Power Rangers Beast Morphers.
Well, that makes sense given the main villain is
a computer virus. Yeah. And then a rumor. This one wasn't on the Power Rangers Now article. And I'm not going to say this is fact yet, but we know that the actor who played the general from RPM, he's coming back as well. However, I'm not going to assume that he's reprising his role because he's been in like almost every season playing a different character. So I'm not going to cross my fingers on that one. But it is cool that they're bringing in Dr. K because she was one of the best characters. And I'm assuming they're not going to be bringing back, if any Ranger, maybe the Green Ranger, because he's married to the actual actress that plays her. So maybe Ziggy is his name. He might be coming back. Other than that, yeah, don't expect to see any of the RPM Rangers because they've actually, like, you know, are part of the Actors Guild, which means they legally can't be part of Power Rangers. So
that's a shame.
Yeah, so I doubt we're going to see any of them. But yeah, no, I mean, I think the reason I really wanted to bring this up is because, like, you can already see, like, some cool changes going on with this new Hasbro era. Despite the fact that most of the season was already written by the staff before Hasbro, like, had bought Power Rangers, you can still feel like they're definitely trying to change some of the status quo, and I like that. So this has been, like, a really fun season so far, and I look forward to season 2.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of new seasons,
right.
This week, a big game a lot of people play, I'm told. I can't possibly be one of them. Destiny 2 got its first big Year 3 expansion, and one of the first big kind of tests as to how Bungie, the developer of Destiny 2, is going to move forward with the franchise, given that now they're completely independent of Activision Blizzard, who previously co-owned the game and produced the game with them. Now they're completely separate and they don't have their influence. I kind of expected the in-game store for real-world currency and cosmetic items, I kind of expected some positive changes for it. And while I have a lot of positive things to say about this DLC and its story and its refocus on, like, the actual main villain of Destiny that we were supposed to probably see in Destiny 1 at some point, that we never did, but now we're finally getting to see them. As much as I have a lot of positive things to say about it, I have to say I really, 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 really hate what they did with the in-game store. The in-game store has never been particularly good. It's always, you know, been a microtransaction, cosmetic-only store thing. But I think it's particularly bad this season. One, they've changed it so that it can always assault you everywhere you go. You no longer have to go to a character in-game in one of the player hubs to interact with it. It is now in your start menu when you pause the game all the time, everywhere you go. Not only that, but now they've included kind of a timed limit as to how often or when you can buy items. So now it's a seasonal tab of things that are only available this season. And they've implemented a really shitty, like, Fortnite season pass. I guess because technically Destiny 2, also with the release of Shadowkeep, went free to play. In big quotes. Because the base game is now free to play. Except for if you want to play the game, you still have to buy the expansions Forsaken and Shadowkeep, which cost lots of money. They cost, I think, $30 and $40 respectively, or I guess $30 and $30 or $20 and $30, depending on what versions of each DLC you want to buy.
Wait, you said that you have to actually, like, pay for the expansions to play the base game, so you can't, like...
You cannot continue the story past a certain point without these expansions.
Oh, okay.
These expansions are the main campaign of Destiny. Yeah.
Okay.
These expansions expand the main campaign and the canonical moving forward of things. Not only that, but they have, like, a lot of stuff inextricably tied to them. A lot of loot is tied to them. A lot of in-game activities are tied to them. It's I do not consider Destiny 2 a free-to-play game as long as you have to pay for these DLCs, these expansions.
Can I just say something sort of related to Destiny, but mostly related to just modern gaming that I just really hate? And I know this has been going on for a while, but now it's become like way too popular. I'm just not in any way, shape, or form a fan of loot boxes. I wouldn't mind buying specific items in-game. I hate the idea of buying booster packs in-game items.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm just glad I'm not the only one who's been getting really pissed off from those.
Thankfully, Destiny 2 doesn't have loot boxes.
Oh, they don't? Okay.
No.
Okay.
The closest thing is they have these like bright engrams, which are the store equivalency of like a kind of a loot box. They may contain one of many items, but you don't have to pay for them. You're really not encouraged to pay for them. In fact, part of what I hate is that you're not being encouraged to pay for them right now. I would actually rather everything be available through them, and then just having to collect everything in them takes so long that it wants you to buy more of them, because then you can still technically earn your way to having everything. As it stands, they seem to have taken things out of the bright engrams to put on the store page seasonally, so for just this season probably, and then they'll be locked off presumably, and are forcing you to pay for them if you want them. If you want my favorite skin in game right now for a weapon, you have to pay $7 for it. If you want a single set of armor that's just cosmetic, no actual in-game bonuses, it costs $15. If you want a new finisher, of which there is only one earnable extra finisher in the game and one finisher per class other than that, and you cannot use another class finisher, so there are only, if you do not pay for it, 2 finishers available to you in game. The other 3 finishers that you can have access to, you have to pay for. And in their bundle together, I think they cost another $15 or $14. So that's ridiculous. If you want to fully kit out all 3 of your characters, if they're different classes, in the armor that's exclusive to this season, that's not in the bright engrams, you have to pay $45 for that. For cosmetic only, non-game changing, just a set of armor that looks pretty cool. You cannot earn it in-game. You cannot earn the things to buy it in-game. You cannot earn any part of it in-game. That's shitty. It's also bad because they have a lot of like little things and a lot of weapon skins for exotic weapons that make your weapon look more exotic, and can fit many exotics you can't like repaint or change the color of. So you can't really fit with like your favorite armor color maybe or anything. But a lot of these change the color and appearance of these exotics. And the fact that you cannot ever earn these in game is really shitty. Mm-hmm. Not only that, but the Fortnite Season Pass, the premium version of it, because there's a free version which has almost nothing on it, and then a premium version which has like every level up you get something.
Wait, are you talking about Fortnite or Destiny?
Destiny.
Okay, because you said Fortnite.
Yep, it has a Fortnite Season Pass. I'm going to call it that because it's not a Season Pass like we've had in Destiny before, where you pay for a Season Pass, which then gives you all of the DLC and updates that season. Mm-hmm. This is a Fortnite Season Pass. It's like that 2 lines of items you earn by leveling up in Fortnite. It's that. It's the Battle Royale Season Pass, even though this is not a free-to-play Battle Royale. And you have to pay for a premium version of it. I don't know why I didn't have to pay for a premium version of it. Maybe it's because on PC I ordered the special edition of Shadowkeep, because I thought it came with Forsaken in the past DLC. It's the reason I bought it. It didn't, and I feel cheated out of $10 now. Because both me and our friend Fen Hot Sauce both bought the collector's edition, or not the digital super bundle on PC, because it was worded that it had the past seasons of content, and it didn't. It didn't have the Forsaken DLC. It had the past seasons of seasonal content, apparently, which is just the updates. So it basically was just blowing smoke up our ass, and that felt bad.
Whether or not that was legal, the way they worded it or
it
not,
was
it's still
definitely legal. It was just
really it's still
shitty.
shitty. That's the thing.
I'm not going to contest the legality of it. It was definitely worded so that it's definitely legal. It's just really misleading, especially since there was nothing on the store page originally that said that I was going to be able to buy Forsaken separately, or I have to buy Forsaken separately, and there was no bundle with Forsaken and Shadowkeep, which made me think that the big version of Shadowkeep was the bundle with Forsaken. There is no way to buy both DLC on Steam together. Yeah, so just a bunch of like minor shitty practices all over. Oh, the Fortnite Season Pass. That's right. So in the Fortnite Season Pass, the premium version of it, you're supposed to get something every level, right? Well, one of the big things that came with that is that the exclusive to this season armor sets, there are only 2 of now that you don't have to pay for in the store separately. 2 earnable sets. One of them is exclusively earnable through the premium version of the pass. And the other version, you earn 3 or 4 times in the pass, which is dumb. It's a filler. They keep giving you the same armor set over and over again with slightly different bonuses, no different visuals, and that's really shitty. Like, they literally fill in the extra levels with duplicating the set on the premium pass at least twice, and then I think you're also given it in the primary pass, in the free pass separately as well. So you can earn it like between 3 and 4 times before you ever get another armor, and then you have to get way into the season pass to earn the other armor. So that feels shitty too.
That sounds really shitty.
Yeah, it sounds like they padded out a season pass they didn't have any content for. Actually, no, that's even worse. They had a lot of content for. They've just hidden that content behind paywalls separate from that season pass. Now, if they had included any of those items or all of those items that you can pay for separately in the store in the premium version of the season pass, that would be cool with me. I probably would be singing its praises right now, because I'd be like, that's a really cool incentive for the premium season pass. You get a set of armor for this season for free, and you get access to like 4 sets of armor otherwise for the premium pass. Especially if they had an in-game way of earning that premium pass somehow. Maybe they make it cost a lot of Bright Dust or silver, not just silver. Bright Dust is the material you can earn in-game to shop at the cosmetics store. Silver is the one you have to pay for. And silver is what everything costs now, with the exception of 2 sub-menus of like just 2 little rows of really old cosmetics. Like these bars that you can buy with Bright Dust are usually materials that are years old now. They're part of past DLC expansions or even the base game. When this DLC launched, there were only 2 new items on there. So if you want to, like, if you had a bunch of Bright Dust set up, the non-premium currency, the one that you can earn in game, then you wanted something new, theoretically there were only 2 options for you, and one of them was like a really shitty, like, your character like does a cry or something emote, and it was bad. It's just been monetarily. I'm really sad to see how Bungie went with this DLC.
Mm-hmm. That's too bad. So what I'm hearing though out of all this is that you'll be joining me soon in World of Warcraft Classic.
No. No, won't be paying any subscription fees for any games.
I just
No.
needed a funny way to end that segment, so I thought that was a perfect
Fair enough.
transition to
Fair enough.
the last topic, which I think you and I are probably going to have similar thoughts on this, which is that. So we don't
Which
have.
is,
yeah.
yay!
So we don't have any concrete details about this yet.
No,
For
just
a
the
while,
rumor mill.
Yeah, just the rumor mill. So don't take anything what we say like it's actual, like it's actually happening, because
It
we
was
don't
just
know.
the most enjoyable bit of rumor mill news, and let us do something that wasn't Spider-Man.
Exactly. That's the big thing. We've talked about Spider-Man like
We
the past 4 or 5 weeks.
We could do more Spider-Man.
Yeah, but we're gonna
not.
we're gonna talk about JJ and how he has a huge deal with Warner Brothers recently. Okay, cool. Sorry, I thought someone texted me or something on my phone, but I was wrong. But anyways, big deal going on with J.J. Abrams with Warner Brothers. He signed a huge contract with them recently, and apparently turned down Apple, who is offering him twice as much, simply because Apple doesn't have as many IPs as Warner Brothers does, which very heavily is like hinting that whether or not it's going to be DC Comics related, it's definitely going to be he's going to be working with something that's an already existing property that Warner Brothers has.
Or set of properties.
Yeah, set of properties that Warner Brothers has, and a lot of people are, of course, assuming DC because
the big assumption is that he's going to be taking over the reins for like DC going forward.
Because yeah, whenever a studio is like, oh, we're in trouble, we need a way to get people to care about a certain property again, who can we go to? JJ is the hero.
JJ is kind of the man.
He is the man of rebooting.
He is the reboot king.
Whether it was Star Trek, Star Wars, or in South Park's case, the national anthem.
I have to give it to him. JJ's been real good on the universe creation side.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't like the guy who followed him up in Star Wars. He who shall not be named.
I love you, Rian Johnson.
Rian Johnson. I just don't have anything to do with the script. All right, just stick to visuals.
Hang on, I'm gonna adjust my camera real quick.
It's sad because I actually like Looper and crap.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
I
Now,
like Rian Johnson's other movies for the most part.
looking forward to Knives Out. That looks really good. But anyways, going back to JJ. Yeah.
I like his world building in Star Wars. I loved Episode 7. I thought his Star Trek movies were fun. And I eventually liked them once Simon Pegg got to direct it.
Weirdly enough, no, he didn't direct the third one.
He didn't?
No, he helped write it, but he didn't direct it.
Once Simon Pegg got to write it.
Helped write it because it was like him and 4 other writers or something.
They did good.
did.
Those 4 writers, they did good.
I thought Star Trek 3 was okay. Is it? I'm very different from the fan base here because weirdly enough,
a good return to Star
I actually, I really thought the first one was fun. I think I liked the second one more than anyone out there because I actually really enjoyed the second film.
I actually like the second film.
I'm not the only one?
I don't get why people hate Into Darkness so much.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, the plot twist that Khan was Khan was never going to be a real plot twist to most people. And they didn't treat it like it was going to be. They treated it like you knew he was Khan the whole time, which you did. Don't lie, you did.
I have my own headcanon explanation for that. That he's not Khan, but he was just a different person who was part of that group. And when he was unfrozen, took up the name of their leader only because, I think I know it's a different timeline, but it's still the same universe as the original series. So theoretically, he should look the same as Khan if he's been frozen this whole time. So it's one of those things I had to create my own headcanon for, and that's my headcanon. He's not Khan, but he is someone that looked. Yeah, exactly.
He's maybe one of the more sociopathic members of the crew.
Yeah, exactly. That's my headcanon. I'm allowed to have those.
That works. But either way, it was like a visually really stunning film.
Oh yeah.
Even just as an action story, it's a really good action film. It's not a particularly great Star Trek thing because Star Trek implies a lot of things with it. Almost none of which was the J.J. Abrams trilogy. But it made a really fun action movie in the Star Trek universe. And I believed a lot of the stuff was in the Star Trek universe. It wasn't like not fitting with the Star Trek universe on a technical level.
Mm-hmm.
It was on a spiritual level that it wasn't. The kind of feel, the tone, the focus wasn't Star Trek-y. The content all technically was.
Yeah, I fully agree. So now with him moving to DC.
Yeah, the actual topic.
Yeah.
Him being the new Kevin Feige of DC.
That's the rumor.
That's the rumor.
And I think that would be... If it failed, I would still be happy to see where it goes. Let's say he ends up turning out to be...
I suspect it would be DC's fault and not his fault.
That's also true.
There was just too much bad blood and it just failed.
I think one of the biggest weaknesses that's only now starting to not be as big of a problem as it used to be with Warner Brothers and DC is that a lot of times whenever a movie is being greenlit, if Warner Brothers has any creative input, you have to say yes to it or else the whole movie falls flat. The big example... Now, I'm not trying to really defend Dawn of Justice here or Zack Snyder. I think that it was a bad movie, and I think even if Zack Snyder had full creative control, I still wouldn't have liked it very much, even though I think Zack Snyder is a very talented director. Are you talking about
Justice League or Dawn of Justice?
Dawn of Justice. Did I say Justice League?
No, you said Dawn of Justice, but I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm talking about Dawn of Justice. Is that I feel as though, a lot of, such as the famous Martha scene, I'm, almost willing to bet. I'm willing to bet my left nut that scene was in there because, one of the executives at Warner Brothers did, a trivia thing and found out and was super proud that he knew that and was like Zack Snyder, you have to find a way to fit this in. Okay. I'm so proud that I know that.
I still disagree with this. I think that was an inspired bit of writing that got really fudged at some point. I actually think that's a potentially really impactful, really good connection between the two, and that could have been pulled off actually well. I actually love, conceptually, the Martha scene. I hate the actual Martha scene because it's executed terribly, it's built up terribly, it's written terribly, but there is a world out there where I swear to fudging God, that scene is the best scene in the film. Not only that, but it makes someone cry. That is a potentially emotionally impactful and strong scene. Just the way they did it sucked.
Yeah, I don't agree with it being the Martha thing that caused the scene to happen, but I do agree that the idea of Batman realizing he's the guy at the end of the gun was a perfect thing that could have changed his mind. But I just feel
the Martha thing can have a shit ton of levels to it. It can be everything from he's pointing the gun at his dad again. As opposed to what is Joe Cool still canonically the guy who does that?
Joe Chill.
Joe
okay,
Chill,
and yeah, I'm assuming so. There's no reason to assume he's not.
I don't know. I thought they decanonized him, just made it Joker 10 times.
No, they never once imply that it's the Joker so far.
I think you're actually wrong about that. I think they directly stated it was the Joker at least once or twice.
I don't think so. I never saw anything about that. Only in the Tim Burton movie.
I think they've since canonized it again in some way, somewhere.
If
anyone thought this was a thing.
If anyone knows that this is accurate, let me know. I haven't
comment if I'm full of shit or not in the comments below.
I never mind. That would be a spoiler. I'm not going to say anything about Joker. Never mind.
I was actually just I was thinking if I should ask earlier, because of this whole JJ's now doing a connected universe. Do we want to spoil something about the Joker?
Fuck. The only reason I'm nervous to do that...
It's almost important to this conversation.
The only reason I'm, nervous to do that is because it just came out, and this podcast is probably going to go up right after we're done talking about it.
What if we spoil something meta that doesn't technically have to do with the movie's plot?
Okay, let me just say this, actually. Okay, fine. This is a spoiler, so I'll hopefully remember to put a link into... I'll put, like, a number on the screen here to let you know where to skip to, hopefully, if I remember, and I'm hoping I will remember.
So spoilers
the
in
Joker...
5, 4...
3, 2, 1. The Joker does indirectly cause the death of Bruce Wayne's parents, so I could see that.
And has now meta-narratively been confirmed by DC to be part of the next Batman movie.
Possibly.
We have a lot of soft confirmations, so many I'm willing to hard confirm it. To single value hard confirm the fact that it's gonna be part of the what's his name? The Edward Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson, yeah.
It's gonna be part of the Robert Pattinson Batman universe.
I wouldn't mind that at all, actually. The only thing about
I kind of do. I wasn't in love with this movie.
I liked it, but the one thing I thought could have been so cool if they had... Damn, if I say this, I'm going to turn into a review of the Joker, and I don't want to. I'm just going to say one thing that would have been super interesting, where they could have had potential sequels with the Joker, is if they had the same scene with Bruce Wayne's... if they had the same shootout at the very end, except for it was just Bruce Wayne that got killed. So you had Martha over Bruce Wayne's body suddenly laughing, like, maniacally, going insane, and then, you know, Thomas Wayne being like, Martha, and then she then, like, you know, suddenly blood stains from Bruce's shot, like, gun wound, like, you know, rub on her face and create, like, a smile. That would have been a much better...
The splatter just happens to streak across her face.
Exactly. I think that would have been a much better ending, because then you could have totally set up, like, the new 50... Or, sorry, I meant the Flashpoint universe.
The Flashpoint Batman, which is actually a fan favorite Batman.
Yeah, well. Thomas Wayne's Batman, I fucking love him. Anyways, yeah. So going back to with the Joker, of whether or not it's gonna tie into Robert Pattinson's movie,
and thus the overall DCEU, because it's given. Everything seems to be collapsing, and all of their separate stuff seems to be collapsing into the same universe again.
It's gonna go back to, like...
It sounds like a mess.
It's gonna go back to, like, one of the issues I had with Batman Forever, is that you had, in Batman Forever, you had already established the actor for Harvey Dent, who was played by Billy Dean Williams. And then in the next movie, or in 2 movies later, when you have the same character, but his ethnicity is completely changed. It's bizarre to me.
It's a little bit
if
immersion breaking.
Again, if it was like a different universe, that'd be one thing. I wouldn't mind at all. And that's what they're kind of doing with this. And it's only weird because it's the same universe. So with Commissioner Gordon, they have a new actor for him who is played by the guy from Westworld, and it's just weird.
Be the same universe.
Yeah. So if it's the same universe, because technically there's been no confirmation one way or another.
That's right. There may be a soft reboot.
Yeah.
Where they just keep things and keep projects going.
That's what I think they're, like, kind of doing.
That's so messy.
It's a messy way to do it, but, like, if they want to keep Robert Pattinson's Batman in the universe, that's the only way they could do it. So it's all about whether or not they actually want to just have the same have a Justice League sequel in the DCEU, but without using, because I don't think we're ever going to see Batfleck or Henry Cavill again. So we could
Which is a shame.
We could
I
just
still
end
think
up seeing.
Batfleck could have been good.
Me too.
Henry Cavill sucked at Superman, though.
I think he could have been great with better director.
Could have been all right.
But
I don't think he ever could have been really great. I really like Henry Cavill. I really like him in a lot of stuff. He made a terrible Superman.
I don't think terrible. I just think writing wise, it could have was the weakness, not necessarily him as an actor.
Everything from how he acted as Superman, how he looked. I hate everything about it.
But
about the Man of Steel.
What I think they're gonna do, which is kind of a shame, but I think with the next Justice League movie, they're not gonna necessarily completely write out Ben Affleck or Henry Cavill Superman.
Should we end the spoiler alert section?
Oh, right, spoiler section. Yeah, this is
spoiler
where it ends.
section over.
Yeah,
Back to regular content.
Yeah. I think with Henry Cavill's I think with the next Justice League movie, they're just not going to have Superman or Batman as part of the Justice League. They're more than likely going to just... I don't think they're going to replace either of the actors. They're just not going to have them in there. So I think that way they don't have to worry about having two different separate Batmans going on at the same time.
I guess we'll see what JJ does with that.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Yeah, I guess so. So, speaking of which, one more thing I'm going to add on top of this that I forgot to bring up. And I need to look more into this because I have an idea for a movie that could easily be turned into a show. Warner Brothers, or DC specifically, is looking for fans currently to pitch their ideas for a DC TV series to go onto the DC universe online.
I'm a fan with lots of ideas.
Yeah. So,
You're a fan with lots of ideas.
I am. And I thought, you know what? A Booster Gold Blue Beetle TV show would be awesome. And the idea I told you last time about Heroes in Crisis as a movie could easily be written into a miniseries. You know, if it does good, that could be the setup for a Booster Gold Blue Beetle Buddy Cop TV series. Which I think, I'm surprised we haven't seen a movie or a TV show of that yet, because, you know, DC's been wanting to do that for a while.
Yeah, and that's like one of those things that's like not really a big investment in terms of risk, but could easily net you rewards back.
Yeah.
Just for being a fun action romp. Like, there are a lot of things DC could do just to make a lot of money that they don't do that confuses me.
Yeah. The biggest thing that I think that DC should start doing, if they're not going to go one way or the other when J.J. Abrams takes over, I think they should either just be another Marvel. It won't be as successful because Marvel's already done it, and so people are going to be like, been there, done that, but they'll at least make fun, you know, movies that are going to be good. Or they should just go with what they started doing. I guess technically with Wonder Woman and Aquaman and Shazam, and then now with the Joker, they should just let people do their own thing with these movies, like not have any creative control. Like, if you're worried about like what type of movie it is, don't give it a big budget then. You know, I think for some superheroes out there, you really don't need a big budget to tell a good story. So they should just like do standalone movies and then make Justice League movies that are like not even connected to those standalone movies. Just stop trying to I just think that DC needs to stop trying to do both is the big issue.
They need to share half the pot. Choose one or the other.
Yeah, exactly. I think because they're doing this, it's like making the DC universe a bigger mess overall.
Yeah.
So just start
They definitely are.
Yeah. You know, and then, you know, if you want to do more connected universe stuffs, cool, then do that. But stop doing both, because then you're just, audiences then don't know what to, you know, if we have the rumors of a Jared Leto Joker movie, if that ends up being true, it's going to
be real confusing now.
Yeah, audiences are going to see it expecting it to be a sequel to Joker, and then they're going to be really confused.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know.
So, speaking of J.J. Abrams, he's been writing a Spider-Man comic with his son. No, I'm joking.
We can talk about that later once we've both read it.
I kind of do want to talk about it at some point. If what people keep telling me about is true, I'm going to have a lot to say about it.
How many issues are they on right now?
Probably only 2.
2? Okay.
I don't know. Maybe more by now.
I'll definitely, at some point, I need to start reading them. I actually just haven't, in general, the past few months, been keeping up with comic books that often. I
wasn't for a while. I'm catching back up now.
I'm trying to. Yeah, I guess we'll wrap up the podcast here. You know, and then, thank you guys who were listening in. We will definitely be back next week. Sorry for the late upload. That might happen every once in a while just because busy scheduling conflicts. But all right. But thank you guys for joining us, and see you next week.